Hello everyone, I'm Alicia Malone. Welcome to Screen Junkies News, and I'm sure you've all been talking about Iron Fist, which dropped over the weekend. Love it or hate it, there are tons of Easter eggs inside, so I want to talk about that. But before we get into it, I want to put up a spoiler alert because all the episodes dropped at once. So I know some of you may not, just hands, some of you may not have had a chance. Yeah, you may not have a chance to have seen all the episodes, so you might just want to pause this, come back to it later. To help me out to talk through all these Easter eggs, I've got Markia McCarthy and Matt Key. How's it going?
Good.
It's great. Doing very well, yeah. It's exciting to talk about Iron Fist. Okay.
Yeah.
Yay, Iron Fist!
Yay! Well, let's start with you, Markia. Tell me about Daughter of the Dragon.
Yes, it's a nice little Easter egg. Colleen Wing, she's involved with back alley fighting, cage fighting. And she says, he's like, you have to have a name. You have to have a name if I'm going to introduce you. She says, I'm Daughter of the Dragon. And that's an Easter egg because Daughter of the Dragons is her and Misty Knight. And they have,
cool.
Nightwing Restoration Limited. And that is a Daughter of the Dragons.
Yeah, it's the Daughters, and there's like some talk that like eventually they're going to have like a Daughters of the Dragons.
We're confirming it. They're having it. They have to.
I did not confirm that. Did not confirm that.
We have to confirm that. Green light that.
Yeah, green light that right now. That Colleen Wing and Misty Knight are going to get their own series eventually.
Cool.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lee Kyung the Thunderer, Matt.
Is it Lei Kung?
Lei Kyung.
He the Thunderer is he's the trainer in Kunlun. He's been that for ages.
Yeah.
He's trained all sorts of other fighters. He is the father to Davos, who again, spoiler, we meet later on in the series. But yeah, he's like the big trainer and kind of a father figure to Danny Rand throughout some of the comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what he
is. It's very basic. Like,
he's not wearing that outfit.
No.
Well,
no.
they don't. No, when they show him in it, I believe it's either him or it's UT when they show him in the actual series. And he's in a monk's robe, and it's kind of like got an extra dimensional aspect to it because you don't know if he's really there.
If he's really there, if he's like hallucinating.
But Danny is interacting with him, especially in episode 6.
Okay. Yeah. Well, moving on, we've got Orson Randall, the Golden Age Iron Fist, Markia.
For Orson Randall, I mean, Danny Rand is not the first Iron Fist. He's not the first one. He's actually the 66th.
Wow.
And having Orson Randall appear, he's on a video at the compound, Bokutu's.
Bagatu? I can't remember.
Bakuto.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He shows up and it's like, here's another Iron Fist. But I know that Matt is really feeling Orson Randall.
No, that was one of my favorite things about the Matt Fraction run was Danny Rand discovering that there was this Orson Randall who had preceded him, and in the comics he actually finds out there's a book of the Iron Fist, which he didn't know about because Orson Randall stole it from Kunlun.
Right.
So they end up like meeting with each other. And he learns from Orson Randall, but one of the things that Orson Randall knows is that it's not Iron Fist. You can actually have 2 Iron Fists, and you kind of saw that in the footage in the series. He has 2 fists. Danny Rand can only ever use his right fist. He eventually learns how to use both. Hopefully, he'll learn how to do that in the series. But Orson Randall also was like he fought in World War I.
I believe it was World War I. I don't think it was 2.
I think he actually left Kunlun to go fight in World War I, and he had 2 pistols. So he was an Iron Fist that used 2 pistols and kind of did kung fu with pistols and everything. So he's a really, I always thought he was a very badass character. And in the series, it's cool because you actually see him with the mask on fighting some Japanese soldiers who were trying to invade
It's
Kunlun.
kind of like, Captain America back when you see him fighting the Germans, and then you have that with that Iron Fist. And something that I really like about him, using the 2 weapons, like he uses pistols and he charges his chi into the bullets. He actually learned that from the book of the Iron Fist. Well, that's not what it's called, but it's like from the book
basically the book of the Iron Fist,
he learned that from Wu Ao Shi. That's Wuaoshi, where she would charge arrows with her chi. Cool. So she was like the pirate queen of Pinghai Bay or something.
And she was also an Iron Fist, which is really cool because she was a female Iron Fist. So
there's a legacy. Yeah, so that was nice.
I like that. There's also a legacy with some of the previous shows that we've seen. So tell me about drunk Jessica Jones.
I mean, she gets like a small little shout out. The Easter egg is very simple. Joy Meacham says she refers to hiring a private eye and says she was very good when she was sober. Basically,
right. Yeah.
They don't call her out by name. We don't hear about any of her heroics. You don't see her, but she's called out.
Yeah, how many other private detectives do we know with an alcoholic problem that are female in this universe? So,
well, in this universe.
In Marvel's Netflix.
If you had stopped with an alcoholic problem, we've been like, well, like every private eye, right? Every private investigator. But in this particular universe, that's pretty clear nod to Jessica Jones.
Yeah. Okay, and then we also see Luke Cage, is that right? Or you hear about Luke Cage?
Oh, it's a nod to him. It's a scene where Danny Rand is in Claire Temple's apartment and he's bloodied because that happens to superheroes. And she hands him a shirt. She's like, here, it's clean, well, cleaner. And there's a bullet hole in it. And he's like, is your friend okay? She's like, well, more okay than you are, actually.
Yeah.
And then we also get an uncensored. It was uncensored, right? Did I remember that correctly? It's uncensored mail from inmate mail.
Yeah.
And again, we don't see Luke Cage's name, but we do see Claire Temple smiling as she's reading a letter from an inmate. So we can pretty strongly assume that Luke Cage is writing her some pretty...
Yeah, and she says
pretty naughty letters.
She says "Sweet
letters?
Christmas" during the series.
You're right. She does say "Sweet Christmas" a lot.
She's got that connection.
She's got a flame for Luke Cage.
So Zhao Cheng, tell me about Zhao.
Zhao is Zhao Cheng, right? Zhao Cheng. Yeah.
I believe
Zhao Cheng.
He was
the drunken master in the Netflix show.
Yes, you'll find him within the last 10 minutes of episode 8. It was a really great fight.
It was a fun fight, yeah.
Yeah. He's a fun Easter egg because he actually isn't a defender of the hand in the comic books. He's actually kind of, I like to think of him of like a force of nature. He goes after the Iron Fists on their 33rd birthday to kind of take them out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But in this particular instance, he's a really good drunken fight, like kind of like drunken boxing. If you haven't seen Drunken Master, for instance, and you like this fight, just go watch Jackie Chan's Drunken Master.
Yes.
Yeah, and he works as like sort of like an avatar to this kind of this beast who wants to absorb the soul of Xiao Lao, named Qi Lin. So and Qi Lin sort of inhabits these guys and sends them out. I think there's been multiple devourers of the Iron Fist soul, Zhu Xiao or Zhou.
There's so many names.
Butchering the names.
Yeah, Zhou
Zhou.
Yeah, Zhao Cheng is not
the.
I don't think he's the first, if I remember correctly. But he is a very fun nod who comes in like to Matt Fraction's Iron Fist run.
Hopefully he comes back around again. He was defeated by Danny, but he's a really great character.
Hopefully we see more of him.
Yeah.
It would actually be fun for him to come back in the sequel. In that role, like
in Defenders, where he just shows up.
Not even the
like,
Defenders.
Are you 33 yet?
If like Iron Fist 2 gets greenlit, it would be. I don't know.
Then
but
yes, he would be a good character.
It could be doing really well. I mean, I know everyone's been watching it, so I'm sure Netflix is happy. Tournament in episode 6 to remove the hand. Markia, you're all over this one.
Yes,
I have no idea what this means.
Okay.
Well, you haven't finished the series yet. That's okay.
Yeah. So episode 6 is my favorite out of this series. I think it's the best overall ep. I actually said that.
Yeah.
Episode.
It's okay. It's okay. It's but I agree with you. That was one of my favorites as well.
Yeah. It was directed by RZA, and he has a love for martial arts movies. You can definitely tell that.
I've seen his martial arts films.
Yeah, the Easter egg is like in the comics, there's a tournament of the 7 heavenly cities, and in this, you kind of get a type of tournament where you have him going up against Bride of 9 Spiders, and she is one of the immortal weapons. She represents the Kingdom of the Spider. And
she's terrifying. You were telling me about her.
She's terrifying.
So she shoots spiders?
She's supposed to shoot spiders out of her torso. She has chi manipulation.
No, thank you.
Yeah, she's she's nightmare fuel.
She's pretty awful in the comics.
Yeah, but it was great to have like that kind of nod to the tournament happen within that episode.
Yeah, especially because like we didn't get to see a lot of Kunlun, so it was fun to see like other elements of maybe like the 7 capital cities of heaven, and like to know like maybe that's actually out there. Maybe we'll get to see some of that in Iron Fist season 2 if it happens.
If it happens.
But that was like a very cool nod, especially like you're saying, like the actual like sort of tournament like structure to him having to fight like through like 3 different floors of villains.
Yeah.
And we also got Scythe in there. Who was like one of the very first Iron Fist villains
that had a name.
And he was I think he was initially hired by Harold Meacham or something, and Iron Fist beat him pretty easily, if I remember.
Yeah, he was doing it for the money. There was a bounty, like $10,000 on Iron Fist.
Yeah, but it was cool to see him actually fighting with scythes. Scythe. I apparently names. Like am terrible.
We need like a pronunciation guide to go along with Iron Fist.
I'm just gonna anytime I can't say a word, I'm just gonna do this, and we'll like comp it in post with me saying it correctly.
Just have an accent, because that's how I get away with it. I'm like, well, in Australia we say it anyway. Order of the Crane Mother.
Yeah, this one is
this is a weird one.
This is an interesting Easter egg because we. Here in episode 2, I mean, a few times where Danny Rand says that the order that he's with, the warrior monks, are Order of the Crane Mother, which is very interesting because the Crane Mother is the leader of Kyun-zi, which is actually an opposition to Kyun-lung. Now I'm doing it. Kunlun, thank you. Yeah. So that's really interesting for him to say that he's from Order of the Crane Mother, which probably just means that it's an artistic license with
does it
different
make
things.
Much sense within the comic?
It doesn't, especially if Madame Gao ends up being the Crane Mother or a Crane Mother type. It's interesting that was done. Yeah,
because like a lot of the theorizing so far around Madame Gao has been that she's the Crane Mother, that she belongs to Kunzi is the capital city. There's 7 capital cities of heaven. Kunlun is one of them. Every 80 years, every 88 years or something like that, all the cities appear at once on the earthly plane, all connected. They have a giant tournament to see which city shows up every 10 years. It's 15 years in the series.
Because it's like a celestial clockwork of which one gets to come to Earth first. And you don't want to be at the end of that line.
Right, yeah.
So she belongs to one of those cities, and she's one of the main antagonists to Kunlun, which is one of the main antagonists to Iron Fist.
So it'll be interesting to see if she's worked in.
But it's interesting that they're saying that she is the Crane Mother. They belong to the Order of the Crane Mother, because that's
Danny's Order of the Crane Mother.
That's basically like saying we belong to the Order of Satan, and we learn from Satan, because like she is a bit more of a devil-ish kind of character in that mythology.
For instance, with Iron Fist, he has to align his chi like within himself to then summon the Iron Fist, while with the Crane Mother and then Daughters of the Crane, they can have their chi be channeled into somebody else. Like they sacrifice themselves to supply chi to a warrior. And that's bad guys do that. That's a villainous aspect.
That's like blood magic sorts of stuff. Yeah. So it was interesting that they said that. But all that being said, they said Crane Mother. Yay!
Easter egg. Thank you guys for talking me through this. I have so much to catch up on, but I appreciate your very intelligent, knowledgeable minds. Maki McCarthy, thank you so much for joining me.
Sure thing.
And we want to know if you have spotted any Easter eggs while you've been watching Iron Fist. Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to click over here for more from Screen Junkies News. Be nice to each other in the comments. Subscribe to SJ News and also follow us on Twitter, SJ News. See you soon.